All right, fair use, fair use. It's your brother Wab Rum. You're back with another lesson, Lord willing, to be edifying. I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Waha, Rokah Kwadash, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 men on the Lord you see on the highways and byways, prophesying in the name and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Also in the correct doctrine. Also want to send a shalom to the one-third men, women, and children that will escape the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai by their faith. Just got another lesson I want to bring out through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Digital ID, mandatory if you want to work in the UK, says Stormer. So, if you've been seeking Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and study for any amount of time, you should know what the MOTB is. If you watch the apostles, elders videos, from the brother that teach the same likewise doctrine on down, man. Everyone that's following the true men of the Lord are teaching the same exact thing. And you should know what the MOTB is, and you should know what this digital ID is leading to. I have a bunch of videos I want to play. Here's some scriptures. It won't be too long because most of this video is going to be about the videos I'm showing you that, without a shadow of a doubt, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and the elders are all the way down to brothers that teach the same doctrine, have warned you of this day that's coming, and it's going to be a time like never before, as the scriptures say, the time of Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, the mark of the beast system. We are at that day, and he's showing you exactly what we've been speaking of. Because it's without a shadow of a doubt, man, what the MOTB is, man. Now, the other Israelite groups, IUIC, ISUPK, they mocked and scoffed at what the apostles been teaching. And now they soon have to bite their hand pretty much to talk the truth. And that was Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. So this prophecy is going to come to pass very, very soon, man. If weeks, if not months, this prophecy is going to come to pass. And everyone is going to be given this option. Either you're going to take it or you're going to be basically put out of society. And we know for a fact that this is the end. And the scriptures have warned us of these days that was coming and how to be prepared for it mentally and spiritually. So let's get right into it. And Lord willing, to be edifying. Now I don't want to play. Let me see if I can get it back. And you see it start with the UK, which is not only start with the UK, but the other nations as a gradual thing that's going to come to Babylon the Great, man. And more likely, this is what the last, when Trump was invited over to the UK for the event he had went before the king. And this is more likely what was talked about that was going to be the next big thing.
You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. Our immigration system does need to be fair if we want to maintain that binding contract that our politics is built on. And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
So he said, it is as simple as that. You have to have a digital ID to work. And you notice Babylon the Great also has made a big deal out of migration and migrants. So this is basically a ploy to show you that they're going to do the same exact thing. Now, the government more likely will be shut down after Monday. And this is the turning point that's going to be happening. Them going to another system which I believe is going to be the digital system, which is going to be the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast. Now, if you sign up for the digital ID, it will be the last truly free decision you ever make. Now, this video is going to show you that this is the MOTB, which they're going to start with this digital ID as a form of a card or something like that, but it's ultimately going to turn into that little grain of rice that no one can lose it. It's going to be in you that you can't misplace it. And you should know what this is leading to, man. The scripture tell you we don't have to write, like the scripture say, the Lord don't have to write unto you because you know all these things now. You've been taught, you've been blessed to have this wisdom and understanding. So you should know for a fact that this is it, man. What comes after this is those thermonuclear devices. I would say it like that, man, trying to kind of monitor my words. But you should know what I mean. And that is the next big thing as well. The last major prophecy. Them sending those gadgets from one continent to another. Now check this out.
And I've explained that if you sign up for a digital ID, it'll be the last really important decision you make, because your digital ID will be the only thing that your governments, institutions, and anybody authorized by those holding power will recognize you through. So you won't exist anymore. You'll be replaced by a QR code. You are not a number. You're an address to some resources. And that makes it particularly dangerous because those resources can be edited. And one of those fields, for sure, will be your vaccination status. And I'm absolutely sure, because I've seen it written down in multiple documents, that your digital ID will only remain valid if you comply with the conditions of validity. So one of them will be, have you had your latest recommended or mandated jabs? And because of the fact that I'm qualified in toxicology and worked for decades with others in what's called rational drug design, when I look at these jabs, the constituents, I am certain, formally certain, that they were designed to hurt you. And so, the digital ID will lose validity unless you roll your sleeve up. You must see that's designed to injure and I believe ultimately kill. And I've explained that if you sign up for a digital ID, it'll be the last really important decision you make, because your digital ID will be the only thing that your governments, institutions, and anybody authorized by those holding power will recognize you through. So you won't exist anymore. You'll be replaced by a QR code. You are not a number. You're an address to some resources. And that makes it particularly dangerous because those resources can be edited. And one of those fields, for sure, will be your vaccination status. And I'm absolutely sure, because I've seen it written down in multiple documents, that your digital ID will only remain valid if you comply with the conditions of validity. So one of them will be, have you had your latest recommended or mandated jabs? And because of the fact that I'm qualified in toxicology and worked for decades with others in what's called rational drug design, when I look at these jabs, the constituents, I am certain, formally certain, that they were designed to hurt you. And so, the digital ID will lose validity unless you roll your sleeve up. You must see that's designed to injure and I believe ultimately kill.
And that's true, because that ID is going to be your your being able to be in the beast system. You be able to go and buy and sell. Let me hit this, because really this is the only scripture I need to even basically bring this point out. And we should all know it pretty much by heart, because this is the prophecy that you're going to be tested individually, because If you take it, then you're not going to be of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. You basically ultimately giving yourself over to this man, which is the beast. This is Revelation 13, verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So even if you take it, you're going to be put to death. That's the point of being built up in the faith of the Lord, man. Because like he said, you're going to continue to get these jabs. And ultimately, it's going to lead to your demise. So if you give into it, you're going to be put to death. So that's why we, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, we've been bringing out this word for you to be built up in the faith and understand what this is all about, man. What we are through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah are leading you to, and that's the salvation. Because no matter if you take it, you're going to be destroyed before Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. And if you don't take it, the Lord is going to have mercy on you if you're a part of the elect. Lord willing, we all are part of the elect that's seeking Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Verse 16, it says, and he calls it all. See that this is going to be presented to everyone, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. See, it don't matter, rich, poor, small, free, bond. You're going to be presented with this individually. That no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. See, we know exactly what this is. IUIC, they don't know. ISUPK, they don't know. We have the understanding the Lord blessed us to have, man. So a lot of those men that's following those groups are going to be taking this ID, and ultimately it's going to lead to their judgment. It says, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, 6. So this is not a way to say that's not it. It's not a debate anymore, man. They're implementing it, because basically what we notice through the scriptures that Great Britain is the mother of Babylon the Great. So it's coming here. And they have this set up, and it's been set up for a while. That's the reason why the jab came out, to see if anyone would basically bend the knee and worship this man and his system. So let's continue on.
Digital ID will be made law for all adults in an effort to tackle small boats. Downing Street believes that a mandatory ID card system will help stop illegal immigrants working. Let's bring in our political correspondent, Mari Aurora. Mari, what more do we know about this?
Yeah, well, Gareth, this is interesting because this is something that has been spoken about a lot. Tony Blair, for instance, has been talking about this for years and years as what he always believed was one of the best ways to try and reduce illegal immigration and the ability for people to work illegally here in the UK. But Sky News understands that we will have an announcement, could be as soon as tomorrow, from the Prime Minister on these mandatory ID cards, an ID card system, the Brit card. And essentially what this will mean, it will be mandatory for all adults here in the UK. It will make it easier for employers and for landlords to make sure that those they are employing or renting or to actually have the right legal immigration status here in the UK. They can do it using a smartphone app. It's also, according to the government, going to make it easier for people here in the UK to essentially prove their status or their ability to kind of qualify to be able to work here in the UK. And essentially, this is all about immigration. This is all about trying to tackle small boats crossings. we've had a lot of conversation about small boats and about other European countries, especially the French, who have been concerned with the kind of pull factors here in the UK in terms of being able to work in the black market, being able to work illegally here in the UK. We already know that France has an ID card system. We've had it for many, many years. And it's something that the UK has always resisted, partly because of questions around civil liberties and freedoms, but also because many governments in previous times said that they didn't think it was the best approach. Now, clearly, Keir Starmer has been persuaded of the benefits of a digital ID card system and has been persuaded that this might have a significant impact on small boats crossings. The question really, and this is always going to be the million-dollar question, is once this comes into play and once it is enforced, how much of an impact could it have on small boats crossings? And if it has a really significant impact on small boats crossings, and it really kind of starts to eradicate that pull factor for illegal migrants coming to the UK, because I think they can essentially make money on the side illegally, as opposed to somewhere like that in France, how much of an impact does that have? And if it doesn't have a huge impact, then of course there'll be sighs of disappointment, I think, from within the Labour Party.
So you're going to be basically shunned from the system, man. If you're not in the B system, you're not going to be able to participate in it. And that's where they want to lock you out and force you, just like they did the jab. They made all these different videos and had celebrities come out and saying, you didn't take the jab, you the reason why people getting sick and all this, man. And this is what you have to do. You got to be prepared mentally and spiritually for this attack that's going to come, man. This is high-level witchcraft, man. And you're going to be locked out of this man's society, man. You're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you take it. And this is not a joke, man. This is deadly serious, man. Because if you take it, you're going to be judged by your how by Shimmy Shot, man. This is what you're going to be. You're going to be judged, man, before the Lamb. Let's get that real quick. This is Revelation 14, 9. Start at verse 9. Revelation 14, verse 9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of power, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So this is deadly serious, man. And they're gonna entice you to take it, man. But we know what the scriptures forewarned us not to take it, man. Or you're gonna be judged before the angels and the Lord. So let's continue on.
We know the government is looking at digital ID cards at the moment. How would that help prevent the situation that we're in now?
Well, Keir Starmer, our Prime Minister, has said we are looking at what other countries have done to bring in a sort of digital accreditation. I think there's real actually benefits right across here, from obviously dealing with illegal working, but also actually imagine if your viewers imagine that they had one credential that would allow them to access all the different government services and our public services too. I'm sure many of your viewers often tear their hair out with all the different numbers and passwords of the different bits of government that they have to deal with. And I do think there could be a real benefit here for people who are here and working legally and accessing our public services if there was one route in, as well as the benefits it could have with illegal migration. We're looking at that. I think it is an interesting idea that other countries have taken forward, and we want to learn from what they've done.
And you see, if you refuse, Labour Minister Liz Kendall warns that the UK citizens may face consequences and be cut off from public service if they refuse to use digital ID. So you're not going to be able to go to the grocery store. It's all what it's leading to. Grocery store, work, paying your rent, paying for your car payment, all of that, man. all of that. Going to a game, concert, you're going to be locked out of this man's society. And we know that it's coming here because this is the system that they set up. And it's pretty much going to go worldwide, man. Because not only as you're going to have to check a digital ID, the dollar is going to be digital as well. This is what it's all leading to, man. It all goes hand in hand. And so you can't get simple and say, well, they didn't say it that. Well, if you this simple, man, go ahead on with your life, man, and listen to Esau and see where it leads you. Because this is only for the household of faith, man. Those that believe Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's word. You can't make somebody understand if they don't understand now. It's too late, man. More likely the elect is sealed. And you just going to have to walk away from that person or whoever it is if they can't get it. The Lord ain't want them to get it. If they ain't got it by now, the Lord has set them to be judged. And you can't make them get it. Now, the system Trump is announcing is basically the same thing that Keir Starmer of the UK announced. And this is right here saying pretty much same exact thing. But I'm gonna play it so you can hear it. 37 seconds.
Today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it could be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that.
And AI, basically, they're going to know if you got it or not, because it's all facial recognition. You're not going to be yourself like the guy was saying. You're going to be basically connected to a algorithm, just like we on the internet. They're going to know who you are by going in the store, but he ain't got it. And you're going to be labeled and kicked out of wherever you're at. They're going to know in society who you are, because you're not going to be recognized by AI. Your phone, cell phone, all of that, man. And this system is set up. That's why you're talking to world leaders, because the UK is one of the starting points for it, but it's also in other countries as well. It's not really getting any national news or national spotlight on it, but all these other nations are doing it too, man.
Why is Vietnam the testing ground for the new banking order? Well, recently, Vietnam imposed a requirement for a digital ID, including a biometric scan of everyone in order to have a bank account. And what they did to enforce this is they closed 86 million bank accounts and seized all of the assets in those accounts. So the owners of those accounts have no ability to do banking or access their funds because they chose not to sacrifice their privacy and submit to this biometric surveillance tracking mechanism. Well, this is not something that is going to stay in Vietnam. This is a test, because if we look at, for example, what's going on with the European Central Bank and digital ID initiative in Europe, as well as the Real ID and the CBDC system FedNow being imposed in the United States, we can see that it is coming to us as well. So what are you going to do about it?
And see, the reason why it's taking them a little time to get it over here is because these people are strapped tight for the most part. But they're going to set it up where you're not going to be able to use no weaponry. But they ain't coming here fast like you would think, because they know that the people are going to revolt against it, man. They know that people are going to revolt against it. And see, it's a punishment that's coming not only by Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, but the torment for taking it. And this is what we're warning our people, man. So you're not gonna be able to say you didn't know. Because I know I've made several videos, Apostle Har, Apostle Gabar, and Apostle Ramlan, all the apostles, elders, the bishops, so on, so forth, on down, have made several videos on it, man. Several videos, man, that you can't even count. So this is, without a shadow of a doubt, the truth. This is Revelation 16 and verse 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your way, pour out your vials of the wrath of power upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the man which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshiped his image. So if you take it, man, that's a great torment is coming to you before you even get judged. See, this is not nothing. We just saying this for the hell of it because we want likes and want views. This is what the Lord is putting on the spirit for us to bring out, and this is what basically the end of this man's system and this man's kingdom. And we have no excuse to take this man's mark, man. I know it's going to get rough, but the Lord said we would eat. The sword said if you endure to the end, you will be saved. So these scriptures that we've been learning and teaching, we have to stand by them, man, even if our life is put on the line, because these things have to come to pass before the Lord to bring his kingdom in. And check this out.
Guest says the Great Reset is still coming. We thought, oh, maybe it's over. The globalists are gone, right? But no, it's coming, but in a different way under President Trump. It's just being sold to us differently, so don't fall for it. We're not sycophants here on the show. We're happy to praise President Trump when he does something great. We're also happy to slam him when this is all being shepherded into us right now. Cashless society, biometric scanning, Palantir, all ready to stand there and take over the helm to make sure that we're all tracked and monitored. Don't take my word for it. European Union, moving towards getting rid of cash altogether. They're on the record already saying that you'd be considered basically a terrorist or in the gray market if you transact in cash over a certain amount. Oh, you want to pay your gardener 500 euros? Sorry, you're a terrorist. This is what they're doing. Christine Lagarde told us that. Mark Goodwin is the author of the Bitcoin Dollar. He's an investigative journalist at Unlimited Hangout alongside Whitney Webb and friend of the show. And, we just also got this word, so I want to bring Mark into the show. Mark, great to see you here, and welcome back. It's been, you were spot on. I think you were on the show maybe 2 years ago, and you predicted all of this. Good to see you.
Something like that. Yeah, it's great to be back, Clayton. Thanks so much.
So at the time, maybe you could just wind the clock back a little bit. What were you warning us about 2 years ago? Cashless, biometrics, stable coins, U.S. dollars being backed by stable coins in order to just hide the debt. We got $37 trillion in debt. What are we going to do? Oh, we could back it by stable coins, and then we could offload it on the world and then do a rug pull, suddenly end the entire crypto, scene, right? Do I have that right?
Yeah, more or less. It's very complicated, very, very much so by design to sort of confuse everyone about what the real play is here. And, of course, it was a bit speculative, a year plus ago whenever we did talk. But a lot of it has come to fruition. And we're now seeing, like the special advisor to Putin the other day coming out and being like, hey, I think crypto is actually a big ploy by the United States government to deal with their debt problems. That was a story that came out. And so basically the thesis of the Bitcoin dollar and the idea of, offloading all this, inflationary effects, finding a buyer for the debt of the U.S. government. The quick summation of it is, we all kind of know how the petrodollar works, right? Where we're offloading our inflationary effects by forcing people to buy dollars to be able to get oil. We basically recreated that system with Bitcoin and digital currency, where the vast majority of all trades for digital currency are done in dollars. So, how do you deal with the debt problem? You have to find someone who buys your reserve assets, and you need to increase the amount of users that use the currency, right? So you need to solve both for the reserves and for the currency that's based off the reserves. And stablecoins really perfectly fix both of those problems, where, they allow anybody access to dollars with just a smartphone. Anywhere in the world now has access to dollars, and those stable coins, these digital dollars, are backed.
So you see, they're setting the system up to be backed by a digital currency. And that's why, like you said, right here, 86 million accounts frozen overnight. The Palantir cashless police state is here. And that's why that Palantir was set up, as well as the other systems. But, I mean, if you ain't got it by now, man, it ain't meant for you to get, man. That's just as plain as you can possibly put it, because this is here.
Digital ID is the hill to die on at the moment, because once they get everything in where they can completely delete you from society if you don't play ball. Because at the moment, if I go into the local shop and I go, all right, mate, yeah, blah, blah, food, blah, blah, go, okay, my card doesn't work. All right, there is money on it. I mean, we've all been there. Card doesn't work. Oh, that's annoying. All right, well, I've got some cash. Gosh, fine, I've got it. If you take cash away and it's gone, and it's what they want to do, and they did it through COVID, didn't they? They gave people the excuse to stop taking cash all of a sudden, when that was illegal before. You had to take it because it was legal tender. Since COVID, it's fine, yeah, we don't take cash, we're cashless now. Suddenly, the state can control whether you can eat, what you can do. That's huge. It can control where you can go, where you can spend your money. So, you know, I can go into a grocery store. Everything's attached to my digital ID. All of my money, everything is there. My compliance score, the whole lot of it is all on there. And if I want to go and buy a couple of rump steaks, well, no, you had steak last week, son. Right, it won't let me buy that then. And people think that's far-fetched. They think that the idea of that is crazy. And then you say, well, you do know in China that millions of people aren't allowed to use public transport because their social credit score is too low. And they look at you with a fluoride stare of like, no way. Yeah, wait. And that is exactly the world that they want for the rest of us.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's, where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
And see, he just said that in 2022. So it's obvious that the system's already set up. A personal footprint, where they're gonna know what you eat, they're gonna be able to track what you can eat, what you have in your account, how much you can have in your account. They can take it. All of this, man. This is not a far-fetched thing that is so far beyond that you can't believe this, because this is right before your eyes, man. Everyone is talking about this, not only here in Babylon the Great, but all around the globe, man. It's my last video, and it's basically going to break it all the way down to man. As all these videos I've showed you, this right here going to break it down to the T.
In the United Kingdom, because of, wait for it, illegal immigrants. Yes, the vanguard that they're going to use to bring in digital ID so that everything you ever do can all be centralised into one place owned by the government is the fact that people are getting on boats and coming across the channel. Now, there's always the option of stopping the boats or turning them back like we did here in Australia. But Sir Keir Starmer says, no, we're going to look into this digital ID because apparently there are too many of these illegal migrants going for jobs, and it's impossible to tell whether they are illegal migrants or not. So you must have the digital ID, which, according to the Times of London, would allow you to prove eligibility to work. It would allow you to pay bills. It would allow you to vote online. It would allow you to sign contracts, allow you to shop. I mean, are we talking about you're going to need a digital ID to go into a shop now and to access health information? This is a one-stop shop for the government to have total oversight and total control of everything you do in your life, and they're going to try and get it passed by saying, well, we need it to combat illegal migrants.
Surely that is just an excuse.
He speaks on it domestically, he speaks on it globally. His reasoning, pretty honest, in fact, is that, yeah, it does mean you surrender a little bit of privacy, but we're a global world and there's no other way than going forward. And if you want to go forward, we have to work with new technology. That seems to be the thinking here. And that's pretty much the line that most other countries that support this will give. We're not quite hearing that from the Prime Minister, though.
If the deal's no good, I'm blaming you, Scott. And it's a great honor. This agreement will also help America and our British allies dominate the future of artificial intelligence. You need the energy. You have to have the energy. That's one thing I learned very quickly. They need a lot of electricity. In the United States, you need double what we have right now just to maintain that fight. We're right now, and I want to say, leading China and the world by a lot in AI, a lot. But we're committed to ensuring that you have secure and reliable sources of American AI and quantum technology. We intend to always be the UK's strongest, closest, and most trusted business partner. Very important to us. The relationship is very important. Again, I want to thank the Prime Minister. He worked very hard on this and getting this deal done. This is long in the making. They've been talking about it for a long time, and we got it done. And it's a real honor to be with you, and thank you very much. Thank you.
I think it's just a way for policymakers to consolidate data on the general population and consolidate and centralize data to make it easier for them to create new policy. And I think ultimately it undermines our civil rights. And I think everybody who's watching Politics Live right now, I think they should really consider the detrimental impacts that ID cards could have on their freedom.
Then that is a potentially big and useful thing, ostensibly to tackle crime, but it begs the question about our civil liberties, and I think that is a very, very big question.
Yeah, and it's also a valid question as well. And we know in terms of it's okay. All right, we might have a bit of an iffy government at the moment, but I don't think they're intent on. I was about to say putting us in prison for hurty words. Maybe they are intent on that, but I don't think their intention is a nefarious one. I think it's a rather simplistic sort of maybe slightly left-wing one, although I'm pretty sure the Tories will be having the same debate on this at the moment. But of course, when you're legislating, you're thinking about policies that come in this respect, Charles, is what a future government might do with it. And that, I suppose, is a reasonable tentacle for debate.
Yes, clearly. I mean, we don't want to be in a situation. I mean, if you look at the way in which the Chinese operate with surveillance of virtually the entire population in one way or another, virtually to the point, as you joked earlier, about walking out of a room and having a chip in your hand, it's not far from that in China, I think. And so therefore, it is a slippery slope, and you can only make a decision like this with a big consensus, and it wasn't in the manifesto. So is it?
And you heard it. So that's the tipping point of this man's kingdom, man. The last final hurrah of this man's kingdom. And I just want to hit a couple other scriptures, man, pretty much just to finish this lesson up. This is Revelations. This is Revelation 19 in verse 20. And the beast was cast, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. So if you take it, you was deceived and didn't believe and have faith on the Lord, man. And them that worship his image, and basically going after his system, man, wanting to continue on in this man's system, man, for whatever reason it is. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone. See that? You're going to be cast into hell, man. And the remnant were slain with the sword, and of him that sat upon the horse, which the sword proceeded out of his mouth. And all the fowls were filled with their slain, with their flesh, man. So we know the Lord is coming with this judgment. And there's no escaping it, man. If you take this man's mark, man, you are finished, man. You can't take it and keep it for a couple months and take it out. That's not going to happen, man. You're going to have to lean on your faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. This is Revelation 20 verse 4. It says, and I saw the thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment were given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of power. See that? You may have to give your life and be a martyr for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua not to take it, man. This might be your lot. So if this is your lot, you take it cheerfully, man, because through the Spirit, the Lord is not going to have his men and his women tormented, man. Let me get this Wisdom of Solomon, beautiful. Wisdom of Solomon 3 in verse 1, it says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of power. See that? The souls of the righteous are in the hands of power. See, even if you're being a martyr for the Lord, you're in the hands of the Lord, man. But 2/3 of our people that didn't take heed to it and they be judged, they're not in the hands of the Lord at this time, man. For the souls of the righteous are in the hand of power, and there shall no torment touch them. See that? No torment is going to touch you. So you're not going to feel the physical pain of being beheaded. So we are in good case if you believe and have faith and stay with this word, man, and endure to the end. It says, in which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, 1,000 years. So you're going to be first in the kingdom of heaven if you're a martyr or if you just beamed up into the chariot, man. Because the Lord said, if you endure these things, you will get the victory. You will get the victory, man. And here you go right here. This is Revelation 15 and verse 2. It says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, standing on a sea of glass, having the harps of power. And that's it. You want to be a part of this number, man. And they sang of the song of Moses, the servant of power, and sung the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, power, almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. So that's the number we want to be a part of, man. So Lord with us is edifying. We know what the MOTB is, and we know it's here. So be prepared through the Spirit, man. Keep the faith. Shalom. Shalom.